My dear brothers and sisters, let's be honest. Sometimes life feels like a mountain pressing down on your chest. You wake up tired. You carry yourself through the day like nothing's wrong. Smiling, talking, working. But inside you're drained. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You're just tired. You've tried everything. You've made dua with tears in your eyes. You've begged Allah at night when the world is sleeping. You've stayed strong for everyone else. But inside you're wondering, how much longer can I hold on? You scroll through your phone, you go about your day, but deep inside, a voice whispers, will this ever end? Why isn't anything changing? Is Allah even listening to me? Let me remind you today, not with theory, but from the depths of real faith. Yes, He hears you, He sees you, and He is closer to you than anyone else ever could be. You are not forgotten, you are not being ignored. Allah is fully aware of every moment you're enduring. And I promise you, with the certainty that comes from the Quran and the words of the Prophet, Allah will fix it for you. But here's what you need to remember. You must be patient. You must hold on. You must trust Him even when everything in your life seems uncertain. Because that's what faith is. It's not just believing when things are easy. It's trusting Allah in the moments when nothing makes sense. It's saying, Ya Allah, I don't understand this, but I know You do. It's whispering, help me, when you feel like you're about to break and still believing that He will. You see, just because you can't see the solution right now, doesn't mean it isn't already on the way. Sometimes we convince ourselves that if we don't see progress, if we don't feel something changing right away, if we can't trace every step of the plan or measure every result, then surely nothing is happening. We begin to doubt. We think maybe my du'as aren't being heard. Maybe I'm not doing enough. Maybe Allah isn't helping me. But that's not how Allah works. Allah does not operate on our deadlines. He is not limited by what our eyes can see or what our minds can understand. His work is constant, perfect, and often hidden, because true faith isn't in seeing, it's in trusting even when you can't see. You might not feel the change right away, but that doesn't mean there isn't movement. Just like a seed buried beneath the soil, you see nothing for a long time. No green shoots, no leaves, no signs of life. But under the surface, it's growing, developing roots, becoming something strong enough to rise. That's how Allah's plan works. It grows quietly, steadily, until the moment comes for it to bloom. So don't mistake silence for absence. Don't confuse delay with denial. And don't assume that because you don't see a miracle, that one isn't unfolding right now in ways you can't yet comprehend. Allah's help doesn't have to arrive in dramatic fashion to be effective. Sometimes His help shows up in subtle ways. In the way your heart softens just a little. In the way a heavy thought leaves your mind. In the way you wake up one day and for the first time in a long time, you feel a tiny bit lighter. That is progress. That is mercy. That is your sign. Even when you can't see it, Allah is always working. There are moments in life when everything looks still, silent, as if you're stuck. You wake up and it feels like nothing has changed. You keep making dua, but you don't see any obvious signs. You keep taking steps, but it feels like you're walking in circles. And slowly a voice in your mind starts whispering, maybe nothing is happening. Maybe this is it. Maybe I'm just stuck here forever. But the truth is, if you're not stuck, you're being prepared, because beneath that stillness where it feels like nothing is happening, Allah is moving everything quietly, precisely, lovingly. He's shifting things in your favor. He's guiding the right people toward you, those who will support your journey, bring peace to your life, remind you of Him, love you for the right reasons. And at the same time, He's removing what would have harmed you, the friendships that were false, the opportunities that would have distracted you, the things you were begging for but weren't good for your heart. The timing you thought was delayed, it's being perfected. The outcome you feared you missed, It's being rewritten better than you imagined. You just can't see it yet. Like the tide pulling far back before a giant wave. What feels like a step backward is often the preparation for something powerful, something transformative. So don't be fooled by silence. Stillness doesn't mean absence. Delays don't mean denial. Allah is always working even in the quiet, especially in the quiet. Because when the moment finally comes, you'll look back and realize, while I thought everything was standing still, Allah was moving everything into place. Just like you can't see a seed growing under the soil, yet it's developing roots, being nourished, and preparing to break through. Your relief is growing too. Your answer is growing, and you just need to hold on a little longer. Allah knows. He knows the heaviness in your chest that you don't talk about. He knows the pain you smile through in front of others. He knows the questions in your heart that you're too scared to say out loud. He knows the effort you're making even when it goes unnoticed by the world. He sees the moments you want to give up, but you still get up. He hears the du'as you make when you're too broken to even say the words. He feels the sincerity behind your silent tears. There are struggles you've carried alone. There are battles you've been fighting in silence. And through all of that, not a single tear, not a single prayer, not a single act of patience has been forgotten. And I promise you, Allah is already working on it. He's not late. He's not ignoring you. He hasn't overlooked your pain. He is in fact closer to you in these moments than you've ever realized. Behind the scenes, He's removing obstacles. He's softening hearts. He's turning circumstances around. He's aligning everything to fall into place exactly when it's meant to. You don't need to understand how. You just need to keep believing that He will. And when the time is right, when you're ready, when the blessing is ready, He will unfold it in such a beautiful way that you'll say, if this is what I had to wait for, it was worth every second. You don't need to know how it will work out. Really, you don't. You don't need a map for your entire life. You don't need a step-by-step breakdown of where you'll be next year or even next week. You don't need every detail explained to you before you move forward. Why? Because life isn't a formula, it's a test. And you are being tested not on your ability to control every outcome, but on your ability to trust the one who already does. You see, Allah is not asking you to solve everything. He's not expecting you to have all the answers. He's not asking you to figure out how your life will unfold step by step, year by year. That's not your burden to carry. You were never created to hold that kind of weight. He's not asking you to carry the entire future on your back. The what ifs, the what next, the what now. That pressure that keeps your mind racing at night, the need to have it all under control. That's not from Allah. That's from fear. And fear is not your Lord. Allah is, what He is asking is something much simpler, but much deeper. He's asking you to trust Him, to hand over what you can't control, to surrender the things you don't understand, to say with your heart, even when your plans fall apart, Ya Allah, I don't know what's happening, but I know You do. He's asking you to lean on Him, to cry to Him before you break down in front of others, to turn to Him not just when things are good, but especially when you feel lost. Because when everything else fails, when your expectations fall flat, when your timing doesn't work out, when the people you trusted let you down, He never does. That's all He's asking of you. Stay close, stay connected, stay trusting. Not because it will make life easy, but because it will make your heart firm. And a heart that leans on Allah can carry anything. You just need to know who is in control. And that's Allah. The same Allah who split the sea for Moses. The same Allah who protected Noah when the entire world was drowning. The same Allah who saved Joseph from the depths of a well and the darkness of a prison and made him a king. That is the one who's handling your affairs right now. So why the panic? Why the fear? If He can part oceans and transform lives in ways no human mind could imagine, then surely He can sort out the worries that keep you up at night. The problem is, we often attach our peace to outcomes. We say, I'll feel better when I get that job. I'll be calm when this pain ends. I'll feel whole when I find the right person. But real peace doesn't come after the outcome. It comes when you trust that whatever the outcome is, it's already in Allah's hands. That's where your heart needs to rest, in His wisdom, His plan, His timing. Because Allah has never let you down, and He's not about to start now. Not once has He forgotten you. Not once has He left your pain unnoticed. Not once has He let you face your test alone. Maybe you didn't see it. Maybe the help didn't come in the way you expected. But think about how many times you were rescued. How many times things could have gone worse but didn't. How many times Allah protected you from what you were begging for because He knew it wasn't right for you. There's no hardship He can't ease. Even the one you've been carrying silently for years. Even the one you think no one understands. Even the one you've stopped talking about because it hurts too much to explain. There is no pain He can't heal. The pain of betrayal, the pain of loss, the pain of feeling like nothing is ever going to change. He can heal that too, in ways so gentle, so subtle, that one day you'll wake up and realize, I don't hurt the way I used to. I've changed, I'm stronger now. That's His mercy working in the background. There is no broken heart He can't repair. None. You're not too far gone. You're not too broken. You're not forgotten. Maybe your heart feels shattered. But sometimes Allah allows the heart to break only so He can fill it with something better. And yes, I know what you might be thinking right now. But I've waited so long. And that waiting feels endless, doesn't it? Every day passes. And you think maybe tomorrow, maybe something will change. Maybe the call will come. Maybe the burden will lift. And then the day ends and everything feels the same. I know waiting tests you in ways almost nothing else can. Because waiting is not passive. Waiting is an act of worship. Waiting forces you to trust. Waiting purifies you from your attachment to this world. And here's the truth. One that's hard to accept in the moment, but becomes so clear later on. Sometimes the waiting is the actual blessing. Not the thing you're waiting for, but the waiting itself. Because it's in that waiting that Allah teaches you patience. It's in that waiting that your soul is refined, your heart is humbled, and your connection with Him deepens in ways ease could never bring. You see, we think the blessing is in the outcome, in the job offer, the healing, the solution, the success. But often, the real blessing was what happened to your heart while you waited for those things. Sometimes, Allah doesn't give you what you're asking for right away. Not because He's ignoring you, not because He's punishing you, but because He's protecting you, because He's preparing you. Because what He wants to give you is so much better than what you thought you wanted. So much deeper, so much more lasting. And right now, you're just not ready for it yet. Not yet, but you will be. Because the waiting is not wasted time. It's growth. It's purification. It's Allah softening your heart, building your strength, and making sure that when His gift arrives, you'll be ready to carry it with gratitude, not arrogance. With wisdom, not haste. With sabr, not entitlement. So the next time you feel like you've been left in the waiting room of life, remember, Allah delays only with purpose. And the one who learns to trust during the delay will appreciate the blessing in a way others never can. Sometimes the waiting is building your character. You may think nothing is happening, but in reality, you're being reshaped from the inside out. The waiting is making you stronger, not in a loud, visible way, but in the quiet, sacred way that only Allah can do. It's in the waiting that your intentions are purified, your desires are clarified, your heart becomes softer yet firmer in faith. It's shaping your patience, turning it from a concept into a lived reality. Not the kind of patience that simply endures time, but the kind that grows trust, the kind that teaches you to walk through life without demanding answers. And in that space, when you learn to sit with the unknown, when you stop fighting for control, when you surrender to Allah's pace, you begin to discover something rare. Peace before the storm ends. Not after everything gets better. Not when the situation is fixed. But right there, in the middle of it, that's the sign of a heart trained by waiting. Because now, you're not just asking for ease. You're learning how to be calm before the ease arrives. You're learning how to say, Ya Allah, if this is what you've written for me right now, I'll trust you through it. And that's not weakness, that's spiritual maturity. It's training your heart to love the giver more than the gift, to desire closeness to Allah above all outcomes, to realize that everything in this world is temporary, but your relationship with Him is forever. That's why waiting is never wasted, because sometimes in the waiting, you receive a far greater gift. You become someone who truly knows Allah. You may feel like you've been delayed, but in reality, you're being prepared, because what's coming is worth the wait. And what's coming will only make sense in hindsight. So don't rush what Allah is still writing. And don't doubt the one who already knows how the story ends. Maybe the delay is protecting you. Have you ever thought of that? Maybe the reason things haven't happened yet is because Allah is holding you back from something you can't see, something that would have harmed you, something you might have chased eagerly, thinking it was good for you, but in reality, it would have broken you. You see, sometimes when Allah says not yet, He's not saying no. He's saying, let me protect you. That job you didn't get, maybe the environment would have destroyed your peace. That relationship that ended, maybe it would have taken you further from Allah. That door that refused to open, maybe what was behind it wasn't meant for your growth. And yes, maybe the delay isn't easy. But what if it's mercy, not punishment? What if it's a shield, not a rejection? Maybe the pain is pushing you closer to Him. Because truthfully, how many of us turn to Allah with full sincerity when life is easy? But pain has a way of softening the heart, of breaking pride, of turning us back to the one we often forget when everything feels fine. Sometimes the pain you're feeling isn't there to punish you. It's there to realign you. It's waking you up. It's saying, come back to Allah. He's waiting for you. And you might say, but I never left. But even the strongest hearts can drift. And sometimes Allah allows pain to gently pull you back, not because He's angry with you, but because He loves you too much to let you stray too far. Maybe what you thought was a setback is actually the beginning of something beautiful. How many times has your life taken an unexpected turn only to lead you to something better? Something you didn't plan, something you didn't even pray for, but something that turned out to be exactly what you needed. Sometimes when a door closes, it feels like the end. But in truth, it's just the start of a new path, one you would never have discovered if things had gone your way. That's why we must stop calling everything that hurts a setback. Because sometimes it's just a redirection, a repositioning, a reminder that your story isn't over. It's simply turning the page. You see,